Hey, I think of Brother Gibson, a mighty man of God, and will I ever get to the level of faith that he had? And will I ever get in ministry to him? Folks, and see, we've had some great ministry. Chester Trent, Pastor Randall Lee, and Damon Sizemore. I mean, these are great men of God, but will we excel above them? And God wants us to do mightier. And folks, the only way, we've got to find God for ourselves, Sister Murray. There's a change of mantle in the land today. And whether we realize it or not, we've seen different ministers retire, or they quit being pastor and they become evangelists and stuff. But there's a change of mantle, and before we know it, here we are. We're the older folks. We're the older generation. When did that happen? And we just walked into it. Moses was great in his day, one of the greatest pastors, the greatest prayer warriors of his time. But he could only take the children of Israel so far. Just think about this. He could only just take, he took them as far as he could go, Sister Murray. But because he lost his temper twice, it's recorded twice, he killed a man one time. The second time, he smites the rock twice. Because he lost his temper and disobeyed God, God says, you can't go over. So, folks, there are things, if we're not careful. And to Moses, his giant, he could conquer every giant in the country, but there's one giant that he never conquered in his life, and it caused him to miss out on the promises of God. So, folks, if there's a giant in your life that you've not conquered, it's keeping you from God's best. I don't know. I can't name the giant that there's people, adultery, fornicating, a lying spirit. There's giants that take hold of people's life. The spirit of alcohol, the giant of alcohol, the giant of anger, the giant of fear. There's different giants that we face. If we don't conquer them, can you imagine? Hebrews says, "Thou hast placed all things under his feet. For that he did place all things under him." And see, that's talking about the first Adam. And folks, there's things that you and I have to place under our feet. Christ has done placed sickness, disease, poverty. He's done placed anger, hatred. He's done placed all these under our feet. Unforgiveness, bitterness, envy, strife, jealousy. All that's been placed under our feet. But folks, if we're not careful, that stuff will climb up our britchet leg and get a hold of our heart and get in our mind. And here we are, we're walking around with unforgiveness. We're walking around with grudges. And God, it's separating us from God's best. So, we need to conquer every giant in our life. Moses was great, but Joshua was greater. He believed God, even though there were giants and the cities had great walls, he believed God would fight for them and protect them. We must learn from our leaders to be in subjection to them. To Samuel, it says, but also we must seek God for ourselves. There were many prophets and judges, but none stands above Samuel. Just think about that for a minute. There were many prophets before Samuel. There were many judges, but none of them can stand as tall as Samuel. I don't know how tall Samuel was. 5 foot, 5.5, 6 foot, 4 foot. He might have been 4 foot. We met a little fella this week. And one day this week, and we went and looked at some trees, and I knew his dad, and I was just really impressed, and he favors his dad a lot. And I said, and see, I ain't seen his dad maybe once since I was 16, or since I was maybe younger than that, 14, 13. And I said, tell me something, is your dad taller than you? And this little fella, I don't know if he might be 4 foot tall. And he said, buddy, about everybody's taller than me. But I said, I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just trying to picture his dad because, I was just a little kid, and everybody looks big when you're a little kid. Yeah. I mean, you go to I remember Keevy School, we'd go down and slide on them slides, and man, they were so big and so tall, and I was scared to slide down about it. And then we went to the high school and went back, and I said, man, where are them big slides at? They wasn't none. But Samuel, no matter, there were great men of God and great prophets of God, but Samuel rises above them all. One of the things that Samuel said, He said, I have not sinned against you, against Israel, by failing to pray. He knew how to pray. He knew how to believe God. He knew how to hear from God. Elijah was great, 16 miracles, but Elisha was greater, 32 miracles. But still, in the mind of Israel, Elijah, there's not a prophet like Elijah. I mean, boy, he could pray and the heavens would shut up, no rain, no dew, for 3.5 years. He'd go in and somebody that died, he'd just go in and pray and raise them up. You can't die around me.